Hey guys, how's it going? It's Cheryl, long time no see. So these are one of my videos where I was telling you that I would be spontaneously making, only because I've been so pressed for time. So these are one of my first videos that I'm actually just doing spur of the moment, waiting for parking in my car. So I apologize, you hear that annoying ticking in the background. I'm actually double parked and waiting for a parking spot. So I thought this would actually be a great time to talk about one of the topics that I posted in my Facebook group, which was living arrangements or living conditions, parenting a child on the spectrum. So basically what that means is I'd like for us to discuss if you have a child or children on the spectrum, like what challenges are you facing living with other people, whether it's living in a building or if it's living with another family member, or it could be your spouse, it could be the child's siblings, your other kids, or it could be, your neighbors. I know, for example, with my situation, we've been living in a building for about 2 years now. And initially when I was looking for an apartment, I had told the real estate broker that, all of the requirements that I needed, a first floor apartment, because I didn't want, to be living on top of someone, knowing that I have a toddler and a child on the spectrum who loves to jump and hop. So that was one of the requirements, living on a first floor apartment. And also because to have readily access to the front door when the school bus comes in the morning. So, we move in, and unfortunately, one of the requirements that I wanted wasn't met, because after I signed my lease, I found out that the superintendent of my building lives right below me. So yeah, I got kind of like gypped. Anyway, so after I signed the lease, I found out that the superintendent of the building lives right below me. And when I confronted the support broker, he's not a support broker. I'm so used to talking in lingo of like self-direction terms. So when I contacted the real estate broker and told him, how frustrated I was and upset, and I clearly made my needs known, he basically told me, oh, don't worry about it. It shouldn't be a problem as long as you're not making noise after a certain time. I mean, like, really? I have kids. Anyway, turns out this lady started sending me text messages whenever my son would start running across the floor. And then when my daughter in her bedroom started jumping up and down because she was, stimming. So that lasted about like 2 months until I confronted her to stop confronting me, and basically informing her that my kids are on a routine and that she needed to stop basically harassing me during regular hours. My kids are on a routine, and after about 9 o'clock at night, my kids are in bed, okay? They're having quiet time. They're reading in their bed. They're about to fall asleep. My kids, typically 95% of the time, are no longer running and jumping, after 9 o'clock, 9:30, the latest. So, and I think that's actually being, very considerate, considering quiet hours is after 11, right? But it's not unreasonable noise. These are children. We're not screaming, having a DJ party or anything of that sort. These are children. So anyway, those were the challenges, that I was facing. And, it's very stressful. Sorry, I was checking behind me to see if there was parking back there. So it's very stressful. It raises a lot of anxiety, because when my kids start running, or my daughter starts jumping, or she starts making a lot of noise, especially because my daughter wakes up at 5 o'clock every single day, even on weekends, it brings upon a lot of anxiety. So I've had to kind of tweak our routine a little bit. you know, just to kind of teach her to be considerate of others. But nothing, I would say, you know, major. You know, it's not like we're tiptoeing on eggshells here, because that would be unreasonable. I mean, I don't want to be tiptoeing on eggshells in my own apartment where I pay rent just like everybody else. So in the comments below, what experiences or challenges have you guys faced living in a house, in an apartment, in a condo, you know, in your residence? I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who's experienced, you know, a harassing neighbor out there. So I'm hoping that, you know, you guys can give me maybe a little feedback, a little input. You know, it's very stressful. It's very stressful sometimes, because, you know, the walls in our building, it's so thin that I can seriously at nighttime hear the neighbor upstairs. I don't know if it's the neighbor upstairs or next to me that's like snoring. It's crazy. At one point I thought it was my dog that was snoring like that, but it wasn't. It was actually upstairs neighbor, I think, or next door, which is ridiculous. But I live in, I think, a pre-war, I think they say this is like a pre-war building, so the construction of this, I guess it's very thin. But anyway, so put it in the comments. Let me know what challenges you guys face and what solutions have you guys come up with. Give me some advice. Tell me what I'm actually supposed to be doing in my kind of situation where the superintendent lives right downstairs from me. And I mean, honestly though, within the past couple of months, she hasn't sent me any more text messages, or she hasn't confronted me. I mean, here and there when I see her outside, she'll make like little comments, you know, like, oh, you know, I try to sleep in on weekends and I heard banging on the window or on the wall. And I said, yeah, I was putting my TV up on the wall, but that was 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm allowed to make a little bit of noise at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So, you know, she'll try to come slick out of her mouth that way. So let's discuss it. Put it in the comments. Keep it going. I'm interested in hearing your solutions, your issues, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye.